This is the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
Young Jarek would love to take my order.
Hi.
He works at the coffee shop just up the street.
Morning.
He's happy and annoying with a smirk the size of Texas. He's my coffee enemy.
Would you like a mochaccino? Or perhaps a cappuccino? Or maybe a frappuccino?
Said Jarek wearing the chinos. All I really want is a cup of coffee. So strong the spoon stands up, just a cup of coffee. All I really want is a cup of coffee. Give me a friggin' cup of coffee, Jarek.
May I please speak to Chad?
This is Chad.
Chad, this is Julian. We went to high school together. You signed in the back of my yearbook to keep in touch, so here I am calling you, just wondering how you're doing after all these years.
What?
What's going on, man? How you been? You working? You twerking? You jerking?
Who is this?
This is Julian from high school, man. You said to KIT, keep in touch. What's going on, man?
Why?
BFF, KIT, best friends forever, man. KIT, keeping in touch, Chad. This is Julian from high school.
I don't know Julian from high school.
Well, okay. Well, you told me to keep in touch. Here I am, man. Just wondering how you doing. Jamming, slamming, jamming, hamming, human, number, hama, huda.
What? You're so weird.
What's going down, you clown? You listening to Charlie Brown?
No.
You in the rain? You insane?
Like
You tame?
Brain and the name.
His name is Chad. He is a good man. He knows his natty dad is there. He never says goodbye. He always goes to cry. His name is Chad. Hi, hello, Coffee Nation, and welcome to episode 18 of the Coffee with Trends podcast. I'm your host, Carl Coffee. With me once again is my sidekick, Tim. Andrew, how are you, Tim?
I'm great. How are you doing, Carl?
Tim, it's good to have you back at the CoffeeTimeUSA.name studio. Welcome back to Northern Virginia. We had a 67-degree weather today. Did you go outside and play?
I did not. I walked my dog.
Let me introduce our guest. It's his third time. He was there in the pilot. He was there when we talked about that Garth Brooks video, and now he's back. John Hill, what's up, buddy?
What's going on? Glad to be back.
John Hill from Austin, Texas, originally from Trenton, Michigan, home of Andy Green, the Devils from New Jersey, Captain. But let's talk about Overtime Sports Network, guys. You can check it out on otsportsnetwork.com or on Twitter @_OTSN. And also remember the Detroit Sports Podcast Network. Did you know that, John? Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Oh, man, they got like 40,000 Twitter followers, and they accepted us somehow. You can check them out at DetroitSportsPodcast.com or on Twitter @DetroitPodcast. Tim, what was the highlight of your day?
When my dog pooped outside.
And John, what was the low light of your day?
Going to work this morning.
Fair enough. So, listen, Song of the Week. I talked to Tim about the Song of the Week, and me and Tim, we're not that far apart in age. John, you and I both graduated the same year. I think you and I have a little bit closer music interests, but dude, Tim was a guy who was happy that Korn made a run on TRL, where I was a guy who was happy that DSP was making a run on TRL. And listen,
You guys ran Train on
DSP
TRL.
is still putting out hits, and let me tell you, the Song of the Week, boys, is Chateau from the Backstreet Boys. Listen to it. Look it up on YouTube. It is a hit, Tim. You might even like
It
it.
already sounds like Chateau.
Wow. Tim's the sidekick. Sometimes he says funny things, usually not. But yeah, Song of the Week, Chateau, Backstreet Boys. John, you gonna listen to it?
I'll have to go to listen.
So we already did the Song of the Week. And for the first time in show history, we're not doing an 8-1. And there's a reason why, Tim.
There is, Carl?
Yeah. So we're going to do the Ultimate Team Name Battle Tournament. So when I named this, I was like, what do we name this? Because we're going to go through all 4 of the major sports teams, but we can't call it like a hypothetical mascot battle. Why? Why, Tim? Why can't we call it that?
It might be unethical when it, No?
No? Because
no ethics?
the mascots of teams don't necessarily reflect the team names. Like you go to the Phoenix Suns, it's a gorilla. You go to the Pistons,
That's racist.
it's a horse. You go to the Phillies, it's some sort of weirdo. They go to the Flyers. It's some sort of weirdo.
But he's orange.
So we can't call it mascot battle. We're doing team name battle, and we'll get to that later. So for today, we're doing the NFL first round. NFL makes it easy, John. There's 32 teams. Bracket-wise, that's a sexy number, right?
It is a very sexy number.
But before we get to that, we have 2 segments. We have a story, because people like these stories, and then we have a Stump the Expert. So, John, story time. Summer of 2002. We were both 19, if I remember correctly.
Wow, that was a long time ago.
And I want you to tell this story, because this is a story where everything had to go a certain way for this to happen. It's a story where a mutual friend invited us over to his aunt and uncle's house to go swimming. And this was before we had phones where you could just pump in an address and it would take you there. He gave us a street name, and he gave us the description of a car that would be in the driveway. Because, John, you know very well, in Trenton, Michigan, all the houses pretty much look the same.
Yeah, they look fairly identical. I was like, I remember this was a time before Google Maps. I think we had to print off MapQuest or something.
I did it all the time. But you know, you're from Trenton, and I was a city away. So our mutual friend after a softball game said, "Hey, I'm going to my aunt and uncle's house. They have an above-ground pool. Come over. Let's swim. Let's have sexy time." But John, what actually happened? Because this is a story I still tell people to this day because it is crazy.
So, I mean, in essence, we basically went to the wrong house. It's like we went to a complete stranger's house, but the events that transpired after we went to the wrong house was just, the odds were astronomical. Like, the stars had to perfectly align for everything to happen to make us feel this embarrassed. So we end up going to this wrong house. We knock on the door, and this lady welcomes us in, and she's basically like cooking in the kitchen, and she's like, "Come on in, they're in the basement." And thinking that our mutual friend is in the basement because, you know, Michigan houses have basements. And so Carl and I were walking downstairs, and I had never been to this aunt and uncle's house. Carl obviously hadn't been before, so we don't know what to expect. Maybe we're going to say hi to our friend down in the basement, like playing pool or watching TV. No, we get all the way down. We get halfway down the stairs, and I recognize one of the person in there is my high school football coach.
Yeah.
And the other person is a football player, but it is not our mutual friend. It's we are in the complete wrong house. And me being the dumbass of it all proudly says, "Hi, coach." And they're like, "What are you doing here?" And we're like, "Do you know our mutual friend?" And like, "No." And we're like, "Do you know this person?" We gave the name of the aunt and uncle, and they're like, "They're next door." And I don't think we could have left that house any faster.
All right, let me fill in the blanks. This was 17 years ago. You got a lot right. But you got some things wrong.
Okay, all right.
So all our mutual friend was, he gave us a street name, and then he gave us a description of a vehicle. I think it was like a white van, like a town and country van.
Yeah, the Dodge Caravan, basically.
So the first house we saw on that street with a Dodge Caravan that was white, we go there. We walk in, and at the time we were both 19, so I guess we passed for high school football players. And she's
Not
like,
me.
They're all, as soon as we walk in, we knock on the door, and she yells, "They're in the basement." All right, okay, cool. So we go down to the basement.
Yeah, okay, sure.
And we're like a block from Trenton High School, by the way. You went to Trenton, I didn't. You see the head football coach from Trenton High School. You're like, what was his name?
Zarnecki.
Yeah, you're like, "Hi, Coach Zarnecki." And I'm like, is Eddie here? And he's like, "Eddie? Who are you guys? You're not on the Trenton football varsity team. Who are you guys?" I'm like, dude, we had no idea who Eddie's aunt and uncle's names were. We never mentioned that.
We never. Okay, no, I thought we did.
No, it's 17 years ago. So when your details were pretty good, but I swear we had no idea what their names were or anything. So I'm like, okay. So I hope you never had another interaction with his coach. So we kind of, we
Yeah, about that.
Breaking news.
So yeah, it's like not only was he a football coach, he was also an English teacher at the high school, and I happened to have him in the class in the very next semester.
No, you were already graduated though.
Oh yeah, I was graduated. Okay,
Yeah,
but I mean, I had him as a teacher.
Gotcha.
And everything, and so that's how I knew him. That's why I was never on the football team.
But what I'm
It's
saying
like,
is, you
understand.
never had another interaction with him after that, probably, right?
Yeah, it's like because this was like probably like
Summer of
2
02.
years after.
Yeah, summer of
Yeah,
02.
it was probably 2 years after I had him as a teacher.
Yeah.
But I know who he was and everything, and I think I remember the guy who he was talking to because he was also a former football player for the high school because they never leave Trenton.
It was a lot more awkward for you. But we just went back in our car and we drove like 2 or 3 houses down, and there was another white minivan, and then that was the right house. And then the funny thing is, we didn't tell anyone about this story for years.
Plus, another funny thing is, like when we went in the first house, we didn't happen to notice that there was not an above-ground pool anywhere near this house.
Yeah.
It's like that should have been the first sign. It's like we did not. There was no above-ground pool in the backyard. There was not above-ground pool on the side. Like anywhere, there was no above-ground pool anywhere near this first house.
But it's just so funny how the circumstances happen. Like 9 times out of 10, we go to the wrong house. How many times do the people just say, "Go right to the basement"? Most of the time, people are like,
Never.
This is the wrong house. You don't belong here.
Yeah, who are you? What are you doing
And
here?
the lady
I'm
just
calling
sent
the
us.
cops. Get out.
Yeah, but for this one house we went to, the lady sent us right to the basement, and we said nothing. We're like, okay.
I mean, that could have gone one of two ways. The way it did go, or like this could have become like some Saw type scenario where like the basement was like a jail. It was a trap. It's like we're gonna spend the rest of our lives there and eventually die there probably or something in some horrible way. I mean, it's like looking back on it, it's like that was probably the weirdest and best outcome that it could have possibly happened.
Yeah, it was funny because we never mentioned it when we went to the right house. We never talked about it.
Yeah,
and we kind of
never.
And then there's the one time like I think we were drinking like in 2013. We're like, John, let's just talk about this. This was a situation.
Yeah, this is a therapy.
We've held this in for all these years. We've lived this pain together. It's time to talk about this.
To make.
So Tim, you still there?
I am, Carl.
All right. So Atlanta Braves. When I think of Atlanta Braves, I think of TBS. What do you think about?
I think of 1990s baseball, Carl.
So after the 1994 strike, there was 1995, right?
There was. The best year of Bowman baseball cards.
And the Braves were, throughout the whole 90s, the Braves were dominant. But they only won one World Series. And it was that strike-shortened season in 95. So I'm going to ask John Hill this, because this is his Stump the Expert topic. You ready, John?
I am ready.
So there's the big three. There's the big three pitchers. They're all in the Hall of Fame. Maddox, Glavine, and Smoltz. And not surprisingly, Tim, they were 1, 2, and 3 in WAR. Do you understand what WAR is, John Hill?
I know what it is, but I cannot name what it stands for.
Is it something that makes baseball statistics more nerdy, Carl?
I like it. It's wins above
wins against
replacement. So basically, they take
I was going to
this,
say wins against runs or something.
they take this average player, this replacement player, and they say, how much wins does this guy have? So those guys were top 3 on the team, not surprisingly. And John, I'm feeling good right now. I am.
Okay.
And there's a 4th Hall of Famer on the team, Chipper Jones. And I'm going to tell you right now, the answer is not Chipper Jones. So that eliminates one answer. John.
Oh, okay.
So 1, 2, and 3 were Maddox, Glavine, and Smoltz. You tell me who was number 4. And I already told you it's not Chipper Jones. So who was number 4?
Oh, number 4 with WAR? I don't know. Let's see. Okay, let me.
No.
I'll have to go through.
Tim, what do you think?
I think I saw this guy play for the Richmond Braves.
Oh, okay. That's all you got to say. I forgot that I have the answer on your show sheet, so I shouldn't ask you. John, it's bad radio not to say anything. Give me an answer. This team was
know, we got
stacked.
dead air.
This team was stacked on top.
I know.
There was 4 Hall of Famers on the
Richmond.
team, and it wasn't Chipper Jones. So who was it?
Oh, is this other person a Hall of Famer or no?
No, because the 4 Hall of Famers were the 3 pitchers and Chipper Jones.
3 pitchers and Chipper Jones. Okay, all right.
I think Fred McGriff might deserve the Hall of Fame,
Yeah, but he's not there.
but
yet.
he's not in it.
Yeah, I'll get in the Veterans Committee.
He might pull a
Oh.
Trammell maybe later.
Well, I mean, and that was going to be my guess too. It was going to be was McGriff.
I gave another answer right. It's not him either.
Yeah, I was going to say him.
You got 5 seconds.
I'm going to go
4. 5 seconds are long.
You started to say it.
David.
You started to
Yeah,
say
I'm going
it.
to say David Justice.
Yeah,
Damn
you
it.
started to say it.
It's because
I know.
I kept eliminating people. You're right. He is 4.
4. Okay.
He had a 3.8 WAR. Good job.
Yeah. Fred McGriff was going to be my first guess and everything, but when you started talking about Fred McGriff, I was like, who else was on that team that was good?
That's my fault. I'm just feeling good, you know.
I mean, because that team was pretty good. I mean, he had Ryan Klesko, Justice.
Right. Don't lose our audience. Don't lose our audience with nerd talk.
Yeah.
All right, so I kind of made it easy on John the Thrill Hill with Stump the Expert, but he got it with David Justice. And for the first show ever on episode 18, we're not doing 8-1 because basically, John, you're picking 16 matchups here. So 8-1 would be overkill. So I kind of talked about it earlier. It's the Ultimate Team Name Battle Tournament we're doing. NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL. NFL's first. I put all the matchups on Twitter. They choose the winner. John, you're the guest. You can agree or disagree with Twitter. If you agree, check mark. They move on. If you disagree, then it goes to Tim or myself. We alternate. You understand?
I understand.
All the matchups are in a battle cage on land. So there are some flying mammals, or flying creatures, not mammals. And there are some, animals or mammals or fish that are in the water. So to make it even, I'm just saying all the matchups are on land. Does that make sense?
It does, and could be quite a disparagement to some team names.
You get it, John. So I did a random number generator for the matchups. NFL makes it easy. 32 teams. No one has a bye. Are you ready?
I am ready.
All right, John. So the first matchup is a Falcon versus a 49er. John, do you know what a 49er is?
Yeah. They were the 1849, the California Gold Rush.
Yep.
All the crazy old gold diggers out there. And not talking about the ladies.
So the Falcon won 67%. Do you agree with Twitter Nation? Why or why not?
I'm going to agree because a falcon is a bird of prey, has a beak, can fly, has razor-sharp talons. A 49er is basically a homeless person with a scraggly white beard, and he's no contest. That 49er loses to Falcon.
I feel like Tim doesn't agree with this. Do you, Tim?
I think that the Falcons will always beat the Toothless Hillbillies.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah.
Say you're living in Middle America in 1849. Are you one to go to California to find gold?
Oh, heck yeah.
You are? Okay.
Oh, it's old time at Timmy.
And then you say, all right, we gotta pull you aside, and we're gonna put you in this battle arena, and you're gonna fight a bird. You can't knock it out with a shovel. I feel like people got this wrong. You never pick a bird over a human. But hey, Twitter and John Hill picks it, so what can I do? Let's move on. We can't talk in depth about every team or we'll be here forever. John, are you ready for the next matchup?
I am ready.
This one's actually pretty interesting. We had the Lion, the Detroit Lion, our hometown team versus the Ram. It was just in the Super Bowl. This was a pretty close vote, but 58% Twitter Nation says Lion, King of the Jungle, wins. Do you agree?
I'm going to have to say go Lions go.
Right.
I would say that Lions going to have their M for dinner, Carl.
Yeah, it's not every day where Lions win a playoff game.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Lion versus a Ram, I would like to see that. One's in Africa, one's in North America. They would never actually fight in the wild, but a lion would kill. So, The only way a lion would win is in this weird hypothetical.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. This one's interesting and kind of racist. We have a Redskin which is a slang term for Native Americans in the United States and also parts of Canada, versus a colt, which is a male horse, usually below the age of 4 years old. Twitter Nation, this is one of the closest ones, John Hill, picked colt, 54%. So a colt beats a redskin. Not sure I agree, but hey, what do you got?
I'm going to have to go with you, Carl. That I'm disagreeing that the Colts would win, and a redskin Indian has plenty of tools at their disposal to take down a horse, especially a young horse, a horse that's not experienced. So that's why I'm going with redskin over Colts.
Tim, we live in Redskin Nation. It's a sad nation.
I am Redskin
Alex
too.
Smith is out the entire year next year, but that doesn't matter because this is just basically we're just thinking.
You got Colt McCoy.
Oh, that's funny because they're playing the Colts. So you're picking, Tim. You're going first, and I'll go next. So,
Well, I will start by saying Je suis métis, or I am mixed, Mohawk Nation, and I'm going Redskins.
Redskin.
Well, Redskin.
So a Redskin is fighting a Colt.
Yeah.
How do they win?
They kill the Colt.
How?
I don't know, like a tomahawk to the throat.
So
bows and arrows.
A blunderbuss to the chest.
Both John Hill and you disagree with Twitter Nation, and Redskin moves on to the Sweet 16. You guys familiar with Pennsylvania?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
John spent a summer in Erie.
Ooh,
Yeah.
A summer in Erie. Tell me about
Watching
the
the
Jackson
Seawolves,
of Pennsylvania.
So this is kind of, this is all random number generator, and we have an eagle, which is a name for, a large bird of prey, versus a steeler, which someone like my dad, someone who makes steel. It's
a manly job.
But guess what? Guess what this, John Hill? Twitter Nation said eagle, 78%. So once again, they have a bird beating a human. John, do you agree?
I'm going to go with that 78% Eagle over Steeler.
Anything, Tim?
Those towns need to fuck somebody up, Carl.
All right.
Yeah, again, bird of prey.
The Twitter Nation has no respect for people mining for gold or making steel. Foundation of America does not matter. Let's have some
we're
fun.
definitely not making America great again.
All right, John, you moving on. You have Falcon, Lion, Redskin, Eagle moving on. You ready?
Yes.
This one's interesting. This is a weird fight. We have a bear. It's a carnivorian. Carnivorian? How do you pronounce that word?
Carnivore.
Carnivorian?
Carnivore. Meat eater.
Carnivore.
Carnivorian.
Carnivorous.
That's not a real word,
A
man.
mammal found in North America, South America, Europe, Asia. Facing off against a jet, which is an aircraft propelled by jet engines. It's a weird fight. So you have a jet, which really can't move, but I guess it could
And
hurt
it's
someone.
inanimate.
Yeah, versus a bear.
I mean, it could burn it to death.
And Twitter Nation understands, and they picked bear, 63%. So, alright, fine. Is carnivorian not a word?
It's not a word, man.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to agree it's not a word.
So everyone agrees it is a word. All
It
right.
sounds like a house in Game of Thrones. The Carnivorians.
So you saying that what I tweeted was not a word? Because I'm reading what I tweeted.
Yeah, it's not a real word.
All right, Tim.
Yeah.
All right, what do you got, John? You agree with Twitter Nation, bear?
I'm going to go with no. It's like a jet. That's what I want to say. A jet is larger, heavier, and also made of metal. And I'm pretty sure a bear cannot. A bear is very small. It can probably only get up to maybe like a tire, a wheel, or something, and cannot. What happens if it goes behind a jet engine?
This is a weird
like
fight. This is a weird fight.
That
Yeah.
bear is toast.
Quite literally.
You put a jet and a bear in an arena, it would probably take a long time. But if the
Yeah, the bear would probably hibernate.
So I'm actually going to agree with John Hill. This is my turn to pick, and I'm going to say jet. And then they're going to somehow move on. I don't know how much life they'll have because, we're picking something that does not have a heartbeat. I never said if the jet is turned on, but hey.
It sure
there's
is,
a
Carl.
pilot in the cockpit.
Sorry, Bear Nation. All right, so now we go for ties. We go back to Tim, but here we go. Chief, and that's a leader or a ruler of people or a clan. And a Bengal is an endangered tiger that lives in India. Did you know that, John?
I did know that.
So this is interesting. Who do you got, Chief or Bengal?
I'm gonna keep on the animal train and go with Bengal Tiger. Go with the Bengals.
And I did something wrong. I forgot to tell you what Twitter had, which is kind of cool because you did not know. Chief actually won the matchup, 57%. So we're going to Tim now.
Okay, well,
tiebreaker, Tim. Chief. You know, you have some Indian in you, right?
I do, and I did last night.
Whoa. Versus Bengal. You know, Bengal Tiger. That's a big matchup. Who do you got?
I'm going to go with the Chief because he would kill the Bengal.
How?
With his words one time.
All right, so Tim picks Chief, which was what Twitter Nation had. Moving on, though, John Hill, you ready? 2 teams in Florida, if it matters. Buccaneer versus Jaguar. This was one of the closest Twitter matchups we had. Jaguar won it by 1 vote. 52%, John Hill. Do you agree? Right. Or do you think Buccaneer, which is a free sailor pirate in the Caribbean during the 17th and 18th century, or a wildcat and native to the Americas, who wins?
I am going to disagree. I'm going to go with a Buccaneer. Ooh. It's very rarely for a wild animal against a human, but my reasoning is because a Buccaneer has weapons and swords that he can just instinctively just shoot the Jaguar dead. That's my reasoning.
You know, I was against the 49er losing. I was against the Steeler losing. Finally, we have a human beating an animal. Of course, John, I agree with you. Buccaneer moves on. Sorry, Twitter Nation. They're moving on. And let's go to the weirdest matchup we have on this left side of the bracket. A Charger versus a Texan. John, you're a Texan, so this should be interesting. All right, so here we go. So, John, I am looking up on Twitter, so we'll go to you first. Who do you have winning, Charger or Texan?
Well, I'm a little biased, but I'm going to go with Texan because I'm in Texas right now, and everything's bigger and better in Texas. Yeah, I said it. So, and a Charger is what? It's a lightning bolt. Congratulations.
You know, we discussed this. I put on Twitter that it's a device for charging a battery. Tim says it's a horse.
It's a horse.
And
it's a vehicle made by Dodge. That's what it is.
There's a lot. And actually, John, Twitter Nation disagrees with you. They pick Charger. Ooh. So it goes to me, right?
Clearly, they haven't met any Texans.
Okay. It's on me. Everyone look at Carl.
Okay.
I can't. This is a podcast.
Just think you are.
When I think Charger, I do think electricity. And when I think Texan, I think probably racist, probably drunk. But
hey, we're drunk racists.
But you live in Austin, which is the total opposite of most Texans. You know, you guys are liberals. You're free thinkers. You don't smother your tacos with annoying red sauce. So we're going to talk about this, John.
Hey, the red sauce is the best sauce.
Man to man.
It's all about the verde.
But I'm not going to lie, John Hill. You're a Texan. I'm agreeing with Twitter Nation. Charger moves on.
Boo.
So here we go, man. We had Falcon, Lion, Redskin, Eagle, Jet, Chief, Buccaneer, Charger. Move on. We'll go to the next part of the bracket. All right, so John Hill knocked out the left side of the bracket, Tim. Any surprises there?
Not really, Carl. Although I would have thought that a jungle cat would absolutely bleep up a pirate known for barbecuing.
Are you surprised Jet moved on?
No, it's an inanimate object, and a jet would totally burn a bear.
But a bear is fierce.
But a jet is inanimate.
So we're going to the other 16 teams, and the first matchup, it's kind of funny. If you think about it in football-wise, you have the Patriot, which is, we all know what the Patriots have done, and then the Browns. They're losers.
And my favorite team.
But, you know, it has nothing to do with football. Patriot is someone who supports their country and is prepared to defend it against its enemies. And the brown, Tim, is a dark color with a yellowish and reddish hue.
Just want to point out this is not how the team got its name.
Doesn't matter. I'm just going with my team name. That's it. Simple. So it's a color versus someone who supports their country. And Twitter said Patriot, 71%. Do you agree, John Hill, for the thrill?
I agree. Like, you can, anytime you can be the color, it's a great day in America.
Wow, that is the most racist thing that's been said on this podcast this week.
Unintentional racism.
Unintentional racism. All right, Bronco versus Seahawk. Oh my gosh! You know what a Bronco is, Tim? It's a wild or half-tamed horse.
Yes, the stallion.
Of the western U.S. And some people consider Seahawk to be a nickname for osprey or skua.
Skya.
It's not a real animal. There's no animal that's called a Seahawk.
Yeah, it's an osprey.
So, you ready to find out what Twitter Nation picked, John?
I am waiting.
This is actually pretty close. It's 59% Bronco. So, Bronco, Twitter Nation, do you agree?
I do not. I am continuing the trend of going with the birds of prey over a horse because Seahawk is small and nimble. Like you said, Bronco is wild and untamed, and it's just going to be all over the place, and a Seahawk just goes straight for the jugular.
I like this, and Tim doesn't seem to be paying attention, but it's on him.
No, I'm good
mic.
with this.
Oh.
No, I'm good with this. This guy can swoop in with his talons and pick apart that Bronco.
So it looked like Tim
Like
wasn't paying
breakfast at a
attention, but he
buffet.
was Googling what a Seahawk was. And is he picking a Seahawk?
I'm going with the Seahawks. Osprey, if you're nasty.
So Twitter Nation, once again, is dethroned. Interesting. Ready to move on, John Hill?
Let's move it.
So there's 16 matchups, right, in the first round? And one of them had to be the most lopsided. And this was it. You ready?
I am ready. Can't
So
wait.
if a panther is a large American wildcat with a plain tawny to grayish coat, and a cardinal is a seed-eating bird, aka pussy bird, found in North and South America. So you have this wildcat versus a pussy bird. And Twitter Nation, 91% said, F you, pussy bird, panther moves on. Do you agree?
I agree. Panther can just look at a cardinal, and the cardinal will swoop over dead. So, Panther all the way.
The Colonel thought he taught a putty tat.
All right, so John Hill finally agrees with Twitter Nation. It seems like it's been a while. This matchup's funny. It's Giant versus Titan, John Hill, but I thought it'd be close on Twitter. John, Titan wins 74%. Do you agree?
I do agree because, as always, we must always remember the Titans. It's like because if you forget about the Titans, then you start to turn into the little Giants. And judging by this poll, the Giants were very little, and the Titans were humongous. So
maybe it was cold
Go on,
outside,
Titans.
John Hill. Maybe it was cold outside.
Maybe it was Icebox.
Icebox. She does some pretty good softcore porn on what is that, Max? Cinemax?
Like
You mean
talking
Skin-
about, but I'm interested.
You mean Skinamax?
Cinemax.
After 10 o'clock Cinemax?
Yeah.
I think I just saw a nipple. Those were the time. Those were the days.
So Titan
Say-
moves on.
Blurred porn is the best porn.
All right, we got 4 matchups left. You ready, John? You ready, Tim?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's keep it going. We're on a roll.
Tiebreaker's on me, right?
That's right.
So Bill is another name for a bison.
Yeah.
And then we have a raven, which is a heavily built crow, mainly black, feeding chiefly on carrion. Wikipedia, I don't understand all your words. I just put it up there. But guess who won, John Hill? The Bill. 55%. You agree?
Quoth the Raven, nevermore have I ever not agreed with this Twitter poll.
Wow, your wordplay was poetic.
Like he has an English
I-
degree, I think, right?
I took English in college, and I speak English, and that's about all my knowledge of English.
They got Edgar Allan Poe guy.
But yeah, Raven is a close relative to the grackle, and the grackle is the unofficial state bird of Texas, and those things are nasty sons of bitches.
That's your word.
And so I am going to go with the Raven over the Bill. I do not agree with Twitter.
Bills, buffaloes, bisons, they're pussies. You know, when the Indians came, when the Pilgrims came, they just kept wiping out these mammals. And they're huge, but they don't fight back. Ravens, they don't give a shit. Ravens are the real winners here. In an upset, Raven Nation beats the Bills. John Hill, you're what I call a Genius. Can you spell that out for me?
Genius.
We got 3 matchups left, and they're fun. The tiebreaker goes back to Tim now.
Woo!
John, I'm really excited you've been against Twitter Nation. If you had 3 words to say to Twitter Nation, what would they be? F you, Twitter.
Stop, no, and don't.
Thank you. Oh, wait. Oh, my gosh.
Don't hit send.
I'm sorry what I said about Panther Cardinal. We have a matchup that's even more lopsided, and here it is, folks. A dolphin, which everyone calls the pussiest mammal in the world,
I don't know who says that, Carl.
versus a Viking, which everyone calls the manliest mammal in the world.
I don't know about that either, Carl.
Viking wins 92%. Who do you got winning?
That's who I've got winning. I cannot believe that this was... Who are the 8% that voted for Dolphins? I think we should just go out and put them out of their misery.
I think they have Stockholm syndrome from their trips swimming with the dolphins. That's
how
right.
How did Viking not get 100%? That's what I want to know.
Those 8% got Stockholm syndrome from swimming with the dolphins. Someone had to say it.
Yeah,
I'm glad it was me.
They need to drown. That 8% needs to drown in the ocean. Viking all the way.
What do you have to say about dolphins? Are they the pussies of the sea?
They look delicious, Carl.
Mahi mahi, let's go on. We have 2 matchups left. A Packer versus a Cowboy. And I looked up what the meaning of Packer was. The Packers needed a name, and the owners, Lambo and some other dude, they talked to this Indian packing company, and they said, we'll give you $500 in the 1920s for uniforms if you name the team the Packers. So that's the name. They just pack shit. Versus a cowboy, which is an animal herder who tends cattle on ranches in North America. So, John, who do you got? Wait, Cowboy won on Twitter 70%. You agree?
I mean, it's not every day where something out of my mouth will say that I agree with Twitter, but I'm going to agree with Twitter. It's a cowboy is the quintessential mascot of Texas, and a packer is a person who packs. Like, packs what? Fudge?
I've been waiting for someone to come on this podcast and say quintessential.
That word like just lacks in society.
Last matchup. You ready, John?
All right, let's do this.
It's a Saint versus Raider. And Twitter had Raider winning 62%. A Saint is a person with an exceptional degree of holiness or likeness of God. And a Raider is someone who engages in a raid. Not necessarily a pirate. A Raider is not necessarily a pirate.
Is this who rapes who, Carl?
According to Webster. Not the little black kid. Listen, who do you have? You agree with Twitter?
I am going to go with the second coming of the Spanish Inquisition against the Catholic Church and say saints go down to any sort of raider.
Oh, of course they do.
All right, John. So on the right side of the bracket, Patriot, Seahawk, Panther, Titan, Raven, Viking, Cowboy, and Raider. Those 16 are moving on. Very exciting. Any upsets you see there, Timothy?
I was shocked by the Ravens beating the Bills.
Screw the Bill. A Raven's an a-hole. A Bill backs off.
Yeah, clearly you have not seen a grackle.
They both sound like dinner to me, Carl.
All right, Tim. Life's easy on you right now. I've told everyone on Twitter the Throne of Awesome will be different for this 4-month cycle.
Fantastic.
The top 4 people move on, and then the last show of the month of May, they battle for the $40. I made life hard on Tim, but now he just has to pick the top 4. And John, since you're the first person in the cycle, you're automatically in. You're automatically in the top 4 for the next 4 shows. So this is what it feels
like to be like the New England Patriots. You're automatically in the Super Bowl. Yeah. Congratulations.
So there's no decision for Tim. But after the number 5 show, I'd be like, Tim, you have decisions to make, you know? You have to, it's all about being number 4. So, John, you're right now number 1.
Woohoo!
Will it last? Probably not. Tim has been soft. He has a hard time saying no. That's why he's been raped like 12 times?
At least.
16? Baker's dozen?
Baker's dozen.
All right, 13. Anything you want to plug, Tim?
Oh! No, just Red Dead Redemption 2 is fantastic.
They don't sponsor us. So,
yeah, no one sponsors us because we're sponsorless.
John, anything you want to talk about?
I'm going to have to agree. Red Dead Redemption 2 is fantastic. I'm going to have to plug the new podcast that I'm not starting. So, because so many people had decided that I should not be a podcaster. So, I was going to start one and doing a spinoff of this show, but a lot of people told me not to. So, I could say to those who told me no, screw you.
Yeah, who are these people? F you.
Oh, they live down here in Texas, so they told me no. They said that I have I don't have a voice for radio.
Well,
but I do have
you have a great voice.
They say I have a face for radio.
That is the burn I was waiting to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you, John Hill. Maybe we'll have you back on for another pick'em. We'll see. There's a lot of teams we need to go through. So for my sidekick, Tim Anderson, and for John Hill, I'm your host, Carl Coffey. I'll talk to you next time for episode 19 when we dive deep into the NBA.
Diving deep, Carl.
See you.